Ladies and gentlemen, it is with regret that today is a very sad day, and it's the day that I am laying my Dewalt knife down to rest. Now, I have had so much success with this knife. It's been amazing, and despite the amount of comments and messages I've had regarding this knife, particularly about the blade release, the quick blade release, it's been absolutely fine for me. Yes, I had a couple of teething problems and I've done a couple of videos on this knife, but unfortunately I've now had to buy myself a new knife because the slider, the retractable blade slider here, has broken. Yep, it's nothing to do with the blade release. It's nothing to do with the storage or the hanging it or the feel of it or anything. It's just that I can't get the blade out. Well, I can get the blade out, but I have to use something long, thin and sharp to put into here in order to... So it doesn't even work every time. There we go, look. So I can get the blade out and the quick release still works absolutely fine. I just can't put the blade in and out. And I guess I could just leave it like that with the blade sticking out, but that's just silly and dangerous. And I'm not gonna keep using a tool to put the blade away. I'm sorry, Dewalt, but this knife now has to go in the bin. Please join me in a quick prayer for the Dewalt knife. There you go, that's enough. Right, so next on the scene, here it is. Here's my new knife. And this is the Stanley FATMAX. Now, I'm pretty sure that Stanley, Black & Decker and Dewalt are all very much associated or are the same company. I'm not 100%. If you've got any information on that, please leave that in the comments, because that'll be really interesting, because actually this looks quite similar to the Dewalt knife. But before we look at this knife, I just want to show you this knife. Now, my dad had this knife. This is actually belongs to my dad, and this is a Stanley knife. And in my opinion, any knife like this has always been called a Stanley knife. I think Stanley are the gold standard for these type retracting blade knives, and he's had it for a long time and I've had it for an even longer time, and you know what, it still works and there's nothing wrong with it at all. Okay, it's a little bit unimaginative. It's just like a piece of metal with a sliding thing on the top there, screw on there in order to change the blade. There's no quick release or anything. The only feature this has really got is a hole there so you can put a bit of string around it and maybe hang it from your trousers or something. But even so, this has lasted a generation. So Stanley's the way to go. And actually the Dewalt knife was the first one that I had bought that wasn't a Stanley. So let's check it out. And there we go, there's the slider on top. It's got a bit of rubber on the end there for a bit of grip. It's got rubber on the sides here for a bit of grip. That's the same as the Dewalt one. It's got the rubberized handle here, the rubberized handle here. You've got storage for blades in here, so we just push the red buttons like so. That lifts up and you get 5 blades in there. These are Stanley blades, of course. I'm sure they wouldn't give you anything other than Stanley blades. So that's really handy. Close that up. And then here is your quick release button. And very similar to the Dewalt knife, we just push that in. Actually, the Dewalt button, you had to kind of push down, whereas this one you just push in. But the problem I'm having at the moment is actually getting this rather plastic, hard packaging out. Yeah, honestly, I just cannot get it off. I've had this sitting in my office for a few days now, because I bought it a little while ago, but I just can't seem to get this out. And you'd thought you would have thought that, okay, if I push the quick release button in, that will come out, but it doesn't. And there's a bit in here which is hooked around. Oh, but that's left. See, I didn't want that to happen. That's now broken. And that has left a bit inside. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. That's okay. It was just joined there, right inside the knife, which made it seem like it was going to be really difficult to get out. But actually, it's all right. Right, here we go then. Nice. No blade in there yet. The big test for this knife is going to be, can I put the blades in easily with the quick release button? So let's get one of these blades out. I'll do this around this way so you can see with the camera. So we're going to push, I'm going to have it so it's extended, and then we'll push the button, and then the blade goes in. That is locked. Look at that. So as I said, it was this button that broke on my Dewalt one. So I'm hoping that's not going to happen again. Let's just check that blade release wasn't just a one-off, shall we? So we'll push that in. Got to push it in quite hard. It's quite a tough little button, to be honest. So back in. So you do need to push it for it to go in. I think on the Dewalt one, you could just push it straight in, but you had to push it to pull it out. But on this one, you definitely need to push it in to pull it out, and then you need to push it in to put it back in. But that does feel quite easy. I've got to be honest, it doesn't feel as smooth as the Dewalt one when you're retracting the blade, sort of extending and retracting the blade. Feels a little bit more clunky, to be honest. But it is Stanley, and Stanley are reputable, so, and they've always been really good. So let's see how long this one's going to last, shall we? Well, thanks for watching, guys. I can now promise you there will not be another video on my Dewalt knife. How about that? Right then, we're done. See you on the next video.